Hey everyone, welcome back. Hopefully you can find my ADHD medication this time because I'm not on it. This video is going to be our top 10 most wanted characters in Jump Force. Just as a preface, this isn't going to include characters that we think will already be in here from the previous game. Otherwise we'd have Suna and Killua on this list amongst others.
We're just going by the assumption that they just include everyone that was in the previous roster. They're going to also include in this roster.
Yes, it's going to be based on characters that we're not sure will be in it, but we would like to see. At number 10 is Yugi Moto. I think he would be a great addition to the roster as he would provide a unique playstyle. So since Saitama was deconfirmed, Yugi is now kind of on the top of the most wanted list. Now, Yugi was speculated to be in the game prior to Saitama's deconfirmation, but it's added more fuel to the fire since then. There's still a surprise character that will be revealed soon. Maybe we'll see it at TGS, maybe later. Now, one of our viewers reminded me that Yugi was actually playable in Jump Ultimate Stars, and in that game he had quite a cool moveset where he was quite a close combat character. His combos involved summoning different monsters. Celtic Guardian would come out, perform a couple slashes. He could use Swords of Revealing Light on the enemy that would kind of stun them and trap them for a bit, or knock them down. Maybe you play as Yugi from the start and then his awakening turns him into the Pharaoh, and from there the special move, maybe the monster he summoned in Dark Side of the Dimensions, where Pharaoh came in at the last scene to beat Diva essentially. I think that would be really cool to see. I really think he would be a great character for this game, and if he does get included, I hope that they bring in his dual disc from the most recent movie.
Okay, number 9 is Kakashi from Naruto. Now Kakashi is the copy ninja, so he could have his fire style jutsu, earth style jutsu that gets him like up close in an instant. He would be able to use Shidori because he kind of created that jutsu. So maybe after certain combos, Kakashi would then be able to activate his Kamui and to get some distance between him and the opponent, kind of teleport them further away, spit them out somewhere else so that he's got room to recharge before engaging. His awakening could be that, from what we know, that like when an awakening is happening, there's like this little cutscene, and maybe he could be like, Obito, lend me your power or something, and then he gets both Sharingan and then has the Obito's Susanoo. It would be a cool awakening for him, but I really would like to see Kakashi.
At number 8 we have Beerus from Dragon Ball Super. Now, pretty self-explanatory, he's a god of destruction. His moveset is very vast. His ultimate move could be a number of things really. He could do that aura blast where that aura, that's like sun-like aura, appears behind him. Every Dragon Ball character kind of has anything that could really be a super if they put enough energy into it, you know what I mean? Yeah. You could use that finger flick, like a grapple maybe. He kind of grabs them and flicks their head and then they just sends them flying away.
Yeah.
Or maybe even his grapple could be that pressure point move he has, which he uses on Goku with the chopsticks, where he can just render the opponents unconscious, like knocks them down, does damage, and kind of stuns them for a little bit. He could use his Beerus ball as his awakening move. The problem with Dragon Ball characters is they have such a vast array of moves that they can utilize that we often don't see a lot of their moves used in games. I feel like it would be a good addition to Jump Force as it kind of brings more modern characters into the game. We've already got the old ones established, so it would be nice to bring some newer characters in to the mix for people to play around with.
Number 7 is Deku from Boku no Hero. With Deku it's a bit more complicated because the manga is obviously further ahead than the anime, so to avoid spoilers, I don't think they're gonna put moves in the game that haven't been shown in the anime yet, so that kind of also limits his moveset a little bit, because if you think about it, what Deckard really does is punching, and now he learned how to kick as well. Would be cool if he would have the latest suit that he has in the anime now, because that already includes the reinforced boots for his shoot style. One of his attacks could be 1-for-0 for cowling shoot style, so he kind of jumps up and then launches downwards to kind of land powerful blows to the opponents. His awakening could be that he utilizes 100% of 1-for-all, and that's kind of what he did in the summer camp arc against Muscular, where he used 100% Detroit Smash. So that could be his awakening, which would be quite cool. Just that he doesn't break his body in the process.
Number 6 is Enma Kazato from Hitman Reborn. Now, this isn't in the anime, this is just in the manga because the anime got cancelled after the Future arc. Now this is kind of like a Enma Kazato / Byakuran. Whether or not they'll put a more familiar character who was in the anime, so in this case it would be Byakuran. Enma, for those who don't know, he has the Earth Dying Will Flame. Him and Suna kind of clash in the Inheritance arc. Enma kind of has like similar sort of, he kind of looks like Suna, just a more beaten up, bullied Suna. Like Suna, he could use his gloves as propulsion. He could also use his gravita black holes, or when he when he charges up, or maybe for his awakening, he gets the he uses his super gravita black hole with all that text appearing around him. He kind of charges it up, fires it at the opponent, and then collapses the sphere and creates a black hole, which I think would be really awesome. There is some really cool characters in the Hitman Reborn series, and it would be such a waste to not see some more put into the game. We know he can manipulate gravity, so he can use his launch of spheres for like a mid-range or long-range attack, maybe pull them closer towards him to kind of close the gap and start some combos in there. Likewise, if they do go for Byakuran, as he may be more well known, he has an array of moves he can utilise as well, so he can fire the bolts of energy from his ring, he can summon the white dragon from his box, which could aid him. Kind of like circle around him, maybe like block some damage he's taking, or launch it in front of him to kind of restrict the opponent. He could also use his black dragons, which kind of multiply and could maybe fire off from like a mid-range attack. Additionally, he has his white applause and white finger, so maybe with his white applause it'd be a good counter-attack for him. If he uses it at the right moment, he absorbs the attack coming to him and completely negates it, maybe even giving him some health in the process as well. And then for his awakening, maybe we could see him kind of sprout and grow the wings. Maybe not necessarily fly, but either he kind of uses that X-Burner-esque type move that he uses on Suna in the Future arc, where he roots himself down and goes full force with that X-Burner type attack. Or maybe he could use White Finger, where he grows wings, sends into the sky, and uses White Finger to unleash powerful shockwaves on a focused target.
Number 5 is Bakugo from Boku no Hero. Now Bakugo is really strong and he has potential for a really great moveset. One of his things could be his stun grenade, a flash of lights that blinds everyone around him. He could use that to stun enemies and then use that time to recharge or get closer to the opponent. Then he could have his Blast Rush Turbo, which kind of he can put his hands behind his back or his hands towards the ground, and then he can propel himself closer at a really fast speed, or he can propel himself upwards. His special move is the AP shot and the AP shot autocannon, which is him stretching one of his palms out and making a circle with his other palm and then concentrating the blast. Now his awakening could be Howitzer Impact, which is a move where he propels himself up in the air in like circular motion and creating wind around him. When he comes back down, he creates an explosion with a massive impact.
At number 4 we have Meruem from Hunter x Hunter. We did originally have Crollo as this spot, but we were thinking we don't know his full moveset as of yet, so maybe putting him into the game and giving him moves that aren't necessarily canon could kind of be interpreted as spoilers or going against the canon. Wouldn't be opposed to seeing Crollo in there. I just feel that just because of where the manga is at, we haven't seen his full potential yet, whereas we have seen what Meruem can do. His awakening, maybe he could use that blast he uses after he absorbs two of his royal guards, Shia LaBeouf and that other guy, the butterfly dude and the red guy. I think it's the red guy. I don't know how the hell to pronounce their names. Or maybe even his awakening, he gets out a gungi board and plays with that girl, or plays with the opponent and then they lose and then he like beheads them or something. Nah, let's not do that. But in all seriousness, you wouldn't really have any unique special attacks per se. He is super fast though, so he could get some really cool looking combos off on the opponent, chucking them in the air. Near the end he can grow wings as well, so maybe he could juggle his opponents a bit, chase after them by ascending, then carry on combos. Maybe even his awakening could be get to the speed he was at during the fight with Netero, where I think it was they were dealing like hundreds of blows or thousands of blows in a minute because they were both going so incredibly fast. So maybe he could just bombard the opponent with all sorts of attacks from every angle in just a matter of seconds. He could use his tail to kind of pull them closer. I feel like Hunter x Hunter could do with some more characters.
Number 3 is Todoroki from Boku no Hero. Now Todoroki is probably the strongest character in Class 1A. One side of his body can generate ice, the other side can generate flames. Todoroki has mainly used his cold side, and I hope they just balance both sides out a bit because it would make it more interesting and fun to play. He doesn't really have specific moves in the manga. Obviously he can create his ice wall, which is what he's using fairly often. But other than that, when all the students were supposed to create their special moves, he mentioned that he has issues controlling both sides at the same time, which is kind of what's holding him back in getting his signature move. So yeah, he's not there yet, so I would be curious what kind of moves they would be giving him in the game. So we know that he can just freeze parts of people's bodies, which he's doing quite frequently, and he's doing that so fast that people don't even notice him doing it. So that would be a cool way to keep his opponents in check and more or less stun them, keep them where he wants them so he can start his combo attack. Again, we haven't seen as much of his fire quirk yet as we have seen of his ice quirk, so it would be cool to see some more fire attacks as well. And his awakening could be him using both quirks at the same time, encasing his opponents in a block of ice, keeping them trapped while creating a vortex of fire around them that then comes crashing down. I just feel he really has the potential to be a fun playable character if done right.
At number 2 we have Gokudera. Gokudera being the right hand man of Sawara Tsuneyoshi. He has his box weapon, Uri, which he could utilise. Maybe he could use his System of CAI technique, which would be really cool to see because it's quite flashy. He has quite a lot of different ways to utilise this. It would be a great way to combo. I see in him being more of like a mid-range character just because of who he is. He likes his dynamite, he likes his explosives. He kind of like to keep his distance as much as he can. He has the G's Archery when he uses Cambio Forma with his Kauri. Quite a fun character in his personality. It would be great to team up with Suna as well as his right hand man. There could be some good banter between the two when they go in fights. Maybe his combos, his close range combos, could be about getting him distance, so maybe he can propel them far away and then start combos from afar.
So our number 1 is Kuru Pika from Hunter x Hunter. Now, Kuru Pika would be a very interesting character to be added to the game, and he, at the same time, he's probably one of the most complex characters that I can think of. His abilities are very vast. Like there's a lot of things he can do. On one of his hands, he's got 5 rings with chains attached to them. Each chain has a different purpose. So he's got the dowsing chain, he's got chain jail, which wraps around an opponent and traps them. Then he's got one chain that can heal wounds. Then he has one chain that wraps around the opponent's heart. And then he's also got the steel chain, which is like a syringe that drains the aura and steals one of their Hatsu abilities. He can only use his chain jail on the Phantom Troop. His awakening could be him activating his Scarlet Eyes, which puts him into a primal state and enhances his Nen abilities to 100%, which would buff him, make him stronger, faster, just more enhanced for the duration of the awakening period. Or one of his chains is the Judgment Chain, which is the chain wrapped around the opponent's heart. If he has his awakening, he activates his Scarlet Eyes, and only then can he use his Judgment Chain. Kuru Pika is a very interesting character and a very complex character, and I would really like to see him in this game. In my opinion, Hunter x Hunter isn't represented enough in games, and I would be really happy to see him alongside Killua and Gon. That would just be really cool.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching our video. I hope you enjoyed, and please feel free to submit your characters that you'd like to see in the comments below. Until next time, again, we've got lots of ideas for videos, for future content. We're going to be keeping you updated with all the Jump Force news and updates, our thoughts and discussions, and yeah.